Good afternoon, Cloud community, and welcome back to KubeCon, CloudNativeCon here in London, England. Very excited to be bringing you 3 days of coverage. We're midway through day one. My name's Savannah Peterson, here on the rocket ship cockpit with Rob Strechay.
Wow.
Wow, really?
We'll get that out one of these times. We'll be okay.
Let's see how many consonants I can put together at once. That's my new challenge.
Yes.
I'm really excited that we have a VIP alum and a new friend on the set to my right.
I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I think the topic is very topical.
Well,
so.
Well, without further ado, Vaishnavi Hire, thank you so much for taking the time. And Natale Vinto, my VIP, I think this is like our fifth. We're going to start letting you host these moving forward.
Please, I have so much fun. I love it.
We love it too. That's why we love having you back. It's so great. Always appreciate your hot takes. I'm going to start with you because you've had a little bit of a title change since the last time you sat down. Now on the evangelism side, talk to me about that.
Yeah, I love it. I'm an evangelist director here at Red Hat. It means I keep doing the same stuff like advocacy, evangelism, so advocating for open source technology, and Red Hat is all open source, so it's a dream job for me.
Yeah, dream job for you indeed, and everyone's lucky to have it. We're going to talk a bit about the developer journey, and we're also going to talk a little bit about AI. So talk to me about the conversations you're having and how you're empowering the community as we embark in this very AI-heavy world that we're living in right now.
Right, yes, I think there's a great moment for open source, and a great moment for AI open source, right? We observe, if you look at the Linux Foundation data and AI landscape, there's lots of projects going on there. You observe the explosion of open source models, and Red Hat is helping the community thriving with more contribution to those projects. So, in fact, there are many projects we're contributing to, like container images and models as containers, and running the models in environments, automation for model deployment. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm excited to talk to you about this today.
Yeah. I mean, one of those things, sorry.
Yeah, please. We're just killing it right now.
To help clarify for the people who might not be as, intimately aware of what's going on, AI models as containers, what does that mean?
So you can think about AI models as containers, as bundled packages, So you have your AI model file, and then you have your dependencies around that model, then as well as your runtimes, all bundled up in one package. And what advantages it brings is you have your portability, then you can run the same thing on your development machine or device, and also you can just pick that up and run it into your Kubernetes cluster. You have the advantage of scalability. You can just scale it, and there is no problems with your dependencies if you containerize your all your models or bundles.
So it's like an easy button for getting to AI.
That's
pretty much.
Which sounds almost like an oxymoron at this stage, but yes.
I know, but I think to that exact point, I mean, I think there's a lot of people who are going around that are struggling with how to get started, but also the portability aspect when you go to inference, because inference is going to be at the edge, it's going to be in the data center, it's going to be in the cloud. How does this all play in that entire journey for developers who are looking to go with AI-enabled apps?
Yeah, I think one of the great advantages, not only having an open source code base, but also open standards. Yeah. So if we rely on the standards, and the standard is Open Container Initiative Container Images, and OpenAI compatible or API, so there's a standard that everyone rely on, and there's some open source implementation. That's the value. So developers, they can pick their favorite tools, but they still follow the standards. So in this way, we're helping developers getting started with AI. Few years ago was difficult, right? Downloading this large model, and maybe they were not open source at all, right? It was difficult to integrate it. Today, it's much easier. This is what we want to show also, how easy it is to pick one of those open source projects and get started with a local model deployment.
All right, so let's hang out there for a second, because everyone, there's a lot of hype and a lot of conversation, but still a lot of people just getting started or really trying to figure out how this is all going to build out. So what's your advice, and I'd love for you both to answer this, what's your advice for companies, teams, businesses just starting to embark on this journey and still feeling a little maybe nervous about what tool selection they might need or exactly how best to do that? I'll start with you.
Okay, yeah, I think we can and that's what we wanted to showcase in our demo tomorrow as well, right? So how do we do local development? How do we recreate that environment locally and test it out iteratively, improve it, and then move into production and cloud? And that's where the value is, to identify those tools. There are a lot of open source projects that are ongoing. We have agent frameworks, we have a lot of open source models, and the value that it brings is to develop locally and then scale it out, and that's possible today with a lot of tools that we are contributing to. So yeah.
You make it sound so easy.
Yeah.
Natale, what about you? Yeah.
Yeah, I think plus one on what she said, because I think this is the thing to do, right? People are looking for blueprints, reference architecture. How do I get started?
Yeah.
What to do? Which model? Which tool? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff, right? What Red Hat is doing is proposing a path, a golden path, how do you want to call it, right? Pick this, and then you go from local to prod with all those toolings. But again, the standard is open, the format is open, and it's all open source, and rely on Kubernetes, so that's the interoperability, portability power you were talking about.
Yeah, and how does that tie in? Because I get briefed by Red Hat quite often, and I think there's a lot of open source to keep up with. And I think there's also
right now.
Yeah, and things like Podman. And
right.
how does Podman play into this development cycle, local development cycle for people looking at AI?
Yeah, Podman has a great story into container world, right? And we were talking about, okay, we can manage models, AI models as containers. Yep. And it's like a first-class citizen now in the cloud-native AI space. Podman Desktop really helped developers getting started with models, deploying those models, and there are also other open source projects that the Red Hat is contributing to, like Ramalama. Ramalama, it's I love the claim of Ramalama is to make AI boring. No, AI is at the moment it's not boring at all.
Oh,
right?
I love that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's a strong one, right?
It's catchy.
It's catchy,
We're
right?
gonna probably be using that now. I can feel how. Yeah.
But again, Ramalama is going to support this popular repository for models like Hugging Face or Olama and others one. And it's easy with Ramalama to download a model, try the model, and export as a container image.
And it's also fun to say Ramalama.
Yeah, I love it. I love the name.
I always want to put the ding dong on the end of it though. Ramalama ding dong, like the song. It was like there was a song that had that in it, but anyway.
There's some. I'm not going to say something. I'm just going to keep my thoughts to myself on that one. But yet, how do they come up with the names for these? Where do you think Ramalama comes from? Now that we're talking about this,
there's one of our colleague, Dan Walsh, that sometimes come with this name. I don't know if he invented this name, but for other project, he is the inventor of this name. So they came from the mind from some of our colleague or contributor to the project.
Yeah.
And they have a story. To be honest, I don't know the story of Ramalama.
We're going to have to figure it out now.
We have to figure it out.
We have to find it out, yeah.
Vaishnavi, I'm curious. I know what Natale does with his day, and I know how many people he talks to all the time. What is one of the things I really love about Red Hat is how community-focused you are, how involved. I mean, obviously it's all open source, but it's not just that. But I'm curious, in your day-to-day, what is your feedback loop like with the community as you're building these things and coming up with the best recommendations?
So I'll say as a typical engineer workflow, right? So Red Hat is very, it gives you the opportunity to work with the different communities, and the simplest way to do that is just go through the community repos, get involved in the discussions in the communities. Just opening simple documentation PRs and issues help you a lot to get onboarded and be seen into the community, and that's really the first step to get introduced to a community. And then we have all these awesome colleagues that you work with who will push you through to if you are blocked somewhere, and obviously the community helps and gives feedback continuously. There are community meetings. Be sure to just be active in those and just get take initiative to get that feedback to you. So that's what I would say.
I love that. It's great advice. But the reality is, I think sometimes folks listening might hear someone say that, but they don't realize that their feedback is really going to be integrated. This room is full of people who I'm sure are empowering what you're building next.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about what you're working on when you look very broad horizon. You're creating solutions that are really going to power the future to make AI boring. Let's put it that way.
Right.
And so what do you see 10 years from now? What of this technology that's here are we still going to be talking about versus what's going to be the boring stuff inside?
I did the same question to one of those core engineers in Kubernetes, and they were telling me Kubernetes becoming a commodity, right?
Yeah.
Support more workloads like those AI workloads will be more common, right? And the cap of this is the hardware capacity at some point, but also the software evolution is optimizing it. So we don't need anymore so much hardware to run some. We can do local AI development. We can have the chatbot on the laptop. Yeah. It was not possible some years ago.
I'm so excited for Edge.
And you mentioned inference at the edge.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And that's why Red Hat is contributing to an open source software called VLLM. Yeah. It's a model server that really optimized it for inference, and inference at the edge would require this optimization, right? I think
that's
it's powerful.
Like small language models and things. We've been talking about that for about a year and a half, that's where inference is going to live. And we couldn't talk about this in Salt Lake because you had just made the acquisition of Neural Magic at the
Exactly.
time. And so now we're seeing it come back around here and all of that. And it has that community, it seemed like the community was robust even back in Salt Lake. Is that grown? Are you seeing a lot of work on VLLM and things of that? Yeah.
So the community is up and budding. We have a lot of contributors and as well as maintainers now into the VLLM community from Red Hat. And it's, I guess, it is a very healthy community. You have your regular releases and community meetups and meetings, and you will see a lot of VLLM folks in KubeCon as well today. So yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we see all of our friends. I feel like this is like a little bit of a family reunion.
Yeah, it's a family.
Yeah. How many KubeCons have you been to, actually, both of you? I mean, you and I have been to at least 5 together.
Yeah, at least 5. I guess 5.
Yeah.
My first one, I guess, was Seattle, 2018.
Oh, you're going OG on that.
Yeah.
How is and what about you?
This is just my second one. So first one was Salt Lake City, and this is
welcome to the family. Yeah. It just gets better and better from here. How would you say, Natale, I'm going to ask you this since you've had a little more experience at KubeCon. How do you think the ecosystem has evolved over time?
Well, that's a good question, because ecosystem is evolving in terms there's more support and solution which can standardize on something. It is Kubernetes, the platform, yes, so they're standardizing on Kubernetes and bringing their solution, right?
Yeah.
And the ecosystem is growing more and more, and we can say, look at those landscape page. It's huge, it's massive, right?
It is.
And it's easy for people to get their solution in, right? There's a more maturity in the community, in the process. So the growth is healthy. I can see a growth healthy.
It is definitely healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we've gotten the chance to really watch it evolve, and there's a lot more people who know what Kubernetes is now. There's a lot more people thinking about their AI future and the platforms that are going to run that, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually really impressed, frankly. And this community is so diverse, it makes me smile. It's very nice to see the different types of humans milling around. My final question for you, and I'm going to ask you this. When we're at our next KubeCon together, whether that be Atlanta or Amsterdam next year, what do you hope to be able to say then that you can't yet say today? I'll give this to Natale first so that you have a second to think about it, because he's used to me harassing him. Yeah.
I think we'll have another VLLM moment.
Oh yeah, okay.
And our contribution to open source project, our investment is going to grow in the AI space, and it's going to make Kubernetes more richer in terms of offering, and ecosystem will take benefit. So we can talk about other open source projects and where Red Hat is contributing to, and have the same cool conversation together. Again.
I look forward to it every time, Natale. All right.
Yeah, for me, I would say large-scale adoption on Kubernetes of AI workloads. So we'll have some kind of streamlined frameworks, and tools to use across Kubernetes on a large scale. That is something that I would hope for. And Another thing would be to see more use case based AI applications, and just instead of like more generalized one. I think that will bring way more value to the community as well.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
You're an outstanding guest. Thank you so much for being. I see why this is the duo I got today.
Terrific.
You are absolutely
Thank
terrific.
you.
Vaishnavi, thank you so much for taking
Thank
the
you so
time.
much. Thank
Natale,
you for
always a
having
pleasure.
Pleasure.
This is our happy space together, telling stories, having
I
fun
love it. I
in
love
our
it.
fantastic ecosystem. Rob, thank you as well.
Love it. I mean, AI and how it is coming to Kubernetes. This has been fantastic.
And the tangible solutions and cool
Yeah.
things that people are going to build. Cannot wait to continue telling these stories with you all. I hope you're having as much fun at home as we are over here in London, England at KubeCon, CloudNativeCon. My name's Savannah Peterson. You're watching theCUBE, the leading source for enterprise tech news.